Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast. This is actually not Donald Trump positioning himself as Jesus Christ. But before we get into that, I want you to notice behind Trump. What is that up there in the very center? I'll speak for myself when I say that this just reminds me personally of the Baphomet. The shape of it is similar to this. You see the Baphomet's head shape here with the horns, right? The shape of the goat's head is almost like an upside down triangle, right? It gets thinner to the base, almost like a 90-degree, like a 30-degree angle, and it spreads a lot wider heading up towards going out to the ears. That's what that reminds me of, that middle image right there for Donald Trump. Y'all see what I'm saying? Also, something else I noticed about this post is the person that Trump is allegedly healing. To me, I'll speak for myself. That person looks a lot like Epstein. And once you see it, it's kind of hard to unsee it. Of all the images they could have used, they decided to do someone that has a very similar phenotype to Jeffrey Epstein. Do you all think that's a coincidence? No. There's a lot of images you could have used. You use somebody that looks similar to Epstein, almost if to say this is him healing or protecting the Epstein class, right? So, anyways, Donald Trump would actually go on to remove that post. He deleted it, and he was actually questioned about the post. And I want you all to first take a listen to what he said about the post.
President, did you put that picture of yourself depicted as Jesus Christ?
Well, it wasn't depicted. It was me. I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor, and had to do with Red Cross as a Red Cross worker there, which we support. And only the fake news could come up with that one. So I just heard about it, and I said, how did they come up with that? It's supposed to be me as a doctor making people better, and I do make people better. I make people a lot better. As an example, the 11,000, I understand your husband's going through treatment.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He's going through a very serious cancer treatment, so
yes, sir.
This goes a long way.
Yes, sir, it sure does.
Okay, so first of all, it's extremely hilarious to hear him say, how could anybody get Jesus Christ from this picture? He does not understand how a person can look at his post with him in a robe appearing to heal someone with the light shining behind him from the clouds. He doesn't understand, with these people looking up to him as if he's this huge figure. He doesn't understand how people can look at this and depict this. It's laughable. It's like, you, even if you meant to post it as something else, you can clearly look at this and say, okay, I see how people can see that. He says that he doesn't even understand it. This is a joke. But let's get to the bigger thing here. What is this post by Trump really about? Because it's not about Jesus Christ at all. If you all remember, I made a video. A lot of you all are going to remember this, and I've seen some people in the comment section in the live chat already referencing it. 8 months ago, I made a video called Trump the Dark Magician, the hidden meaning of his presidency. I would highly encourage you to go and watch this video. This is one of the most powerful videos I've ever dropped on this channel. It's a 32-minute video. I promise you it's worth it. That video was heavily shadow banned when I posted it, and once you watch it, you'll quickly understand why. Well, the thumbnail of this video, in the very far left corner, you see this yellow background with this person wearing this red and white robe. Well, let's make that a little bit closer so you can understand what this is. This is why I called Trump, even in the Illuminati card game video, the Dark Magician, because that is the role that the Dark Magician is playing, right? Now, does it make sense? It's literally the exact same outfit. In that video from 8 months ago, this is the card we talked about. Part of the reason we talked about this card, let me move this banner. Part of the reason we talked about this card was because a woman by the name of Sabrina Abramovich, who is a witch, quite literally, she actually gave us her thoughts on Donald Trump. Sabrina Abramovich is one of those people who is doing rituals out in the open with people like Jay-Z, right? She's connected to a lot of parties where they make cakes that look like bodies, human bodies in blood, right? There's photos out there, there's pictures out there, and videos out there of her parties. I can't show them on YouTube, even though they're cakes, but it's extremely disgusting. But I want you all to take a listen to what she had to say about who Donald Trump is and the role that he's playing.
It's the best thing happened ever to us, because she believed, not her, but the entire population of this Nordic magician, that he is the magician of the highest order, that he is there in his irrational mind to create confusion in order that the human being can find new order. And it's not so stupid thinking about this in that way. It's completely turning things upside down, because since Trump is around, things are changing. I just to share with you one really funny opinion. But there is in Lapland, there is a group of the shamans there who do something called collective dreaming. They will go together in seclusion and do the rituals with, eating very little food and being in a solitude for a long time. And they will go and dream the dreams. And the dream have to be collective, same dream. So coming out of this dream, once of the shaman told me that actually the best thing happened in this planet right now is the Trump to be the president. I said, how is this possible? It's the best thing to happen. He said, yes, because he's so irrational, he's so crazy. That's actually create that awakening, that we finally wake up. Because before it will be another guy and everything looks similar. But he's so different than anything else. So he's the magician who waking us up. What do you think about that? That kind of theory.
And I actually misspoke. Her first name is not Sabrina. It's Maria Abramovich. Maria Abramovich. You all heard what she said out of her own mouth. Do your homework on her. We've talked about her many times over the years on this channel. This is definitely a witch that participates in occultism. And I've said before, I've been saying Donald Trump is not a Christian. That's not a hot take. I'm going to go a step further to something that may be a hot take. Donald Trump is an occultist, allegedly, that he practiced the occult. I believe he practices dark magic, and that shouldn't come as a shock to a lot of you all at all. That does not mean that he can't do some things that we deem to be good. That's not what that means at all. You understand? It's not what that means at all, right? This is the magician, right? There's something, this right here, for those of you that don't know, it's the tarot card, right? And this card right here in particular is called the Magician Tarot card. Now, we're going to go somewhere and read what this card is about. And I'm going to tell you why the post that Donald Trump posted, or that he uploaded and then will later delete, the purpose of him posting it when he did. It's not a coincidence that he's in red and white, right? But we like to read over here. So let's go. Let me take you all over here, and we're going to read this together about the definition and the meaning behind the Magician Tarot card. All right, boom. So it says the Magician Tarot card. The Magician Tarot card meanings. All right, there's the card there. All right, as above, so below. You see that one hand up in the air, one hand down. That's as above, so below, which is once again the Baphomet. That's Freemasonry, duality. We see the pentagram here on the table, but let's and it says magician at the bottom. Let's read a little bit about this card. This is extremely important, and it's going to explain help you understand why Trump posted what he did. It says the Magician Tarot card represents manifestation and turning ideas into reality. He is the first archetype the Fool encounters in the major arcana or arcana, and he brings the message. You already have everything you need to begin. Now is the time to take focused action. On the card, the magician stands at an altar, surrounded by the four suits of the minor arcana: the wand, cup, sword, and pentacle. Every symbol on this card speaks to creative force, alignment, and personal power. These items, for instance, are used regularly in witchcraft and magic and represent the elements fire, water, air, and earth. The magician points his right arm and hand towards the sky and his left towards the earth, embodying the Hermetic principle, as above, so below. All right, gonna read that again. The magician points his right arm and hand towards the sky, and which Trump was in the sky, by the way, and his left towards the earth, which that can, from the picture that Trump posted, and I'll bring it back up here in a moment. The people, to me, how I interpret this, the people are from earth. Trump is in the sky. That's as above, so below there alone, right? Embodying the Hermetic principle, as above, so below. Above his head is the infinity symbol, signifying limitless potential. You'll see this again on the strength card. He also wears a white gown for spirituality and a red cloak symbolizing will. All of this represents his connection between the spiritual and material worlds and his ability to take an idea and manifest it into reality. All right. So the magician keywords, upright keywords is manifestation, possibility, willpower, skill, personal power. Reverse keywords, manipulation, scattered energy, illusion, misuse of power, self-doubt. Keep that in mind. We're going to come back to that. So the magician, all right, here's the card here. All right. It says upright. This stands for manifestation, personal power, skill, resourceful, infinite potential. But when it's reversed, it means not using the talent, not using your talent, ignoring your potential, manipulation, getting in own's way, trickery. Why is this important with this card? We're going to come back to that in just a moment. Upright magician tarot card meaning. The magician arrives in a tarot reading when it's time for you to act. You took the leap with the fool and gathered the tools of knowledge, resources, and intuition. Now you're ready to bring your vision into form. This card is all about focused manifestation and using what you already have to create what you want. Okay. This is not a time for passive wishing. The magician encourages you to align your thoughts, words, and actions with your intention. The universe will meet you halfway, but you must take the first step. Okay. Career and finances. Career-wise, the magician suggests a powerful time for creative pursuits, launching new ideas, showcasing your talent, or stepping into leadership. You have the tools. Now show the world what you can do. This is a card of visibility and influence, right? But the reverse magician tarot card meaning is when the magician appears reversed. It often indicates either you're not using your power or you're using it for self-sabotage or in an ineffective way. It also can indicate a lack of focus, scattered energy, and self-doubt in your abilities. The reversal can also point to manipulation either by you or someone else. Why is this important? Well, I'm going to show you why this is extremely important if I want to act right. All right. So this is important because I have reason to believe that Donald Trump, as I just said, practices dark magic. And one could even go as far to say Satanism. What does quote unquote the devil, what does quote unquote Satan like to do with anything that is of God? He likes to do the opposite. He likes to flip it upside down, right? So if this card, as we have already established from the reading that we just read, if it typically means or stands for manifestation, personal power, skill, resourcefulness, or infinite potential, when you flip it, right? When you take something and you do the opposite or you reverse it, right? Not to say so that this is not misconstrued. I'm not saying that this card in its original state is of God. But what I'm stating is what you're supposed to be doing in an upright sense, you are reversing that. And so that results in, and I want to make sure you all can see it as I read it. And once again, and you not using your talent and you ignoring potential, manipulating people, getting in one's own way, trickery, right? Or as it says here, self-sabotage, which many people, when they look at Trump's behavior since he's been back in the White House, that's exactly what's been taking place. Self-sabotage, right? Being ineffective in many ways, confusion, scattered energy, a lack of focus, self-doubt in your abilities, okay? So that's what this picture here is about. It's not Jesus Christ. It's the magician. It's Trump showing you that he is indeed the dark magician, all right? Just like we discussed in this video here 8 months ago in the bottom left corner. And this here helps us understand even more so, right? It says major arcana, the magician reversed, which would stand for being ungrounded, having the tools, skills needed, but not using them effectively, a lack of communication through Mercury, struggling to manifest desired potential, right? Missing a piece of the puzzle, not using talent to the best of their ability, half-heartedness, laziness, or unmotivation to manifest the desired objective, craftiness, manipulation of others, talent not being used, not connected to the elements, right? As Maria Abramovich stated before. So that's what this is about. It's not about, he thinks he's God. He thinks he's bigger than God. He thinks he's big enough to place himself on the same level as God. No. And as we know, magician comes out in gematria to the number 33, as we've established that many times already over on this channel. So now can people see what's going on here? Now take everything that we just established, everything we just read, and couple those things with the information shared from the Illuminati card game. Now, do you understand why I can confidently say 8 months ago that the things that Donald Trump is doing is not going to stop. He's only going to continue to do it because that's the role that he's playing, right? Yeah, exactly. So that's what this was about. It's something else I want to state here openly. I'm not so sure. You all are free to believe what you want. I'm just telling you what my thoughts are. I'm not so convinced. Man, I want to be careful. I don't want to be reckless with my words, man. There's a good chance that Donald Trump may be our last president. There's a good chance he may be our last president. I'm not saying that as an absolute. I'm not saying that as a fact. I'm not saying I no. I'm just saying there's a good chance. I was speaking to a friend a couple of days ago, and I'm going to tell you all what I told him. And he may be watching this video. In my lifetime, I'm 31. In my lifetime, I don't know if we've ever been in this position before. This is the most unique position we've ever been in before. When Barack Obama was elected, I remember, a lot of you all don't know this story. I actually went to Washington, D.C. one of the first times I've ever left the state of Arkansas. And it was to go to Washington, D.C. And long story short, I actually got out there and I was lost. I got lost. In 2007, I was what? Man, I was like 12, right? 12? Yeah, so 2010 was, let me do the math, was 16 years ago. 16 years ago, I'll be like 15. Yeah, I was like 12 years old. And I actually got lost in Washington, D.C. I got lost for like 9 hours, something crazy. I got lost that morning because they were fearful that somebody was going to try to pow Barack Obama. The original place he was supposed to speak, they actually changed it. So I actually didn't get to actually lay eyes on Barack Obama. I remember how polarizing it was for Barack Obama to get elected. A lot of people thought that the country would never get to a place where we'd see a colored person, right, a black man in office. And obviously on the other side, post his presidency, we can clearly see that was a psyop. But I mentioned him to say, even that time was not like this. Trump is serving a completely unique role in the White House because he was in the White House once, would go on to lose, but then get reelected after the fact, which is like, I would imagine that's very hard to do. And Trump is polarizing for every reason but his skin color. It's because of his behavior. If you're on the left, it's because of his politics, his policies. But Trump and the things that surround Trump is completely different, bro. The energy in the world right now is completely different. It wasn't anything like this with Trump, with Obama. It wasn't anything like this with Biden. And it wasn't anything like this with Bush. And that says a lot because some things happened under Bush. For Trump to get elected, January 6th to take place, then COVID comes. A lot of people forget the Kobe Bryant thing happened, which was major news. I know it's sports related, but a lot of those things are intertwined. But that may be a Patreon discussion. I just don't know where the country goes from here, right? Like every other president, what I was talking to my buddy about, I was saying, we were saying every other president of my lifetime, we could almost have an idea who might get elected next. You know what I mean? Either we already knew the person, they were coming up in the ranks, but Trump is like the first non-traditional non-traditional president that we've had in a while, coming from the entertainment industry. Who comes after Trump? Because after what he's done already and what he's been doing, JD Vance doesn't have a shot. He doesn't have a cold in hell, right? He doesn't have a shot. So if it's not JD Vance, who is much more well-spoken, much more professional, much more of a people's pleaser than Trump is, that being JD Vance. If that man was to get elected, they would have to pull off some sort of huge psyop, Hegelian dialectic psyop to get people rallying behind JD Vance. Because what Trump has done, I mean, they're out of there. They're going to lose. I imagine they're going to lose the midterms, and JD Vance can start thinking about something else. The Peter Thiel experiment has failed, that being JD Vance. The Palantir Peter Thiel project experiment thingamajiggy, that being JD Vance, has failed. There's no way he gets into the White House as president at this point. So who comes behind JD Vance that we know of? The Democrats did such a horrible job. There's no way. And even if it was the Democrats, who do they have? Kamala Harris, stop it. She's not competent enough. Stop it. She's not going to be able to word salad her way even close to enough to sniff a primary, right? The only thing I can see is if something happened to Trump while he's in office, he does his dirt, he finishes out his role, and then something happened, God forbid, something happened, and then they move JD Vance into that position. That's the only way I can see this. Other than that, who? Because even if the to my point that I was getting at, even if the Democrats were to gain some sort of momentum back, who would be their person, right? AOC, right? Jasmine Crockett, who? Those people wouldn't work. Half the country, more than half the country, hate those two people. So who would it be? And because of that reason, I'm saying this is, I don't like to scare people or fearmonger people, but this is one of the oddest moments in my lifetime. And with the stuff that we've been discussing on Patreon, about how empires typically end after 250 years, and how Trump's behavior is, it makes perfect sense what he's doing. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. He is the agent of chaos. He is the president of confusion, as you heard Maria Abramovich say herself as well. If she practices in the occult and she's saying this, I think we have good reason to believe that she may be on to something. She's probably seen these things a time or two.
This is not even the original picture. The original picture showed numerous, let me get it zoomed in a little bit here, numerous soldiers up here, including the middle one. The middle one was a soldier as well. They were all soldiers in the original picture. The only thing modified in this picture that our president uploaded was this one figure right here. Now, a lot of people were like trying to speculate what this was, but there was one person on X that actually knew exactly what it was and where it came from. It came from this book right here called The Last Poll, and this book was never published, at least not yet. And it was the person that put this up and knew about this, apparently someone that's on a Reddit account where they discuss new books that haven't been released yet. He likes to save them, I guess, and read them or something. And his channel is called Forced Wipe on X. And he puts in here a little synopsis of what's going on. If I can get it on, I don't even know if I can get it better on the screen. Here we are. Quite a while back on Reddit, I always save books if they're to look for when released. The group's gone as of Freeway months ago. As it was releasing snippets of the book, it was about a guy in Chicago who goes to Yafran, rename of Tel Aviv, and basically walks Jesus' path to thwart modern-day Baal worshippers. So that was basically what it was about. Notice the time when this post was released. I guess Jacob Israel, he's here on YouTube as well. He pointed out how it was at 1:11 a.m., which is interesting, 111. But this was actually the answer to what this picture was all about. Shows the one thing that was removed and changed happens to be related to a book that was never released. At Humanity Wipe, share these below screenshots. It's precise dates of future meteor strikes, spiritual battle against worshippers of Baal. And here, of course, is the dates that were listed in the book. Not saying this is, again, a fictional book, obviously, but the fact our president took a picture from the book cover of the book and put it on his own picture that he released on Truth Social and then deleted it. I don't know, man. I don't know. This makes you kind of wonder, right? So you got these dates. Kazakhstan. I've actually been there before. Early 2027, Kazakhstan. 12 gone. Mid 2027, Northern Iran. Few hundred dead. Late 2027, Central Asia, populated area, moderate significant damage. Early 2028, coastal region, unnamed, moderate tsunami warning. San Francisco, mid 2028, major city destroyed. 1M dead. That's pretty crazy sounding. So again, this is a fictional book, but you can see sort of the context of it being used in a picture our president posted, which of course he's posted other strange pictures before. This ain't the first time. He's posted other ones as well. They have weird symbolic meanings. I'm guessing this is another one with weird symbolic meanings.
So yeah, man, I'm not so sure the direction the country is in the next year and a half, 2 years, to be honest with you.
Believe you me, after Trump, America is finished. It's not about Trump. I don't know the man, and I'm getting no benefits out of this anyway. Believe you me, I've never seen him. I mean, I've seen him on YouTube, whatever, here and there, bits and pieces. But I don't know him. But I'm telling you, Trump is the last one. Because after the trumpet will be blown. You know why America is going to fall? which is the United Nations, yeah? 2 reasons. Because America is challenging God at the moment. It's challenging the Lord. It's going to fall for 2 reasons. One, internally. The other reason is externally. The internal reason, there will be traitors within America. There are traitors within the White House. There are traitors within the Pentagon. There are traitors within the governmental system. Traitors who have sold America. And the reason why these traitors came up on surface, because America walked away from the Lord. The Lord allowed them to be punished, to teach them that I'm in charge, not you. You think you can rule the world? It is the Lord who rules the world, not you. So when you challenge me, I will allow infiltrators from within your circle to come and do wondrous things, destroy America. A lot of traitors are within America. And the external reason, it is the wrath of God. Jesus Christ will come very heavily on America, the wrath of God. But internally, there is a lot of traitors. They literally sold it. You'll remember this. The day America goes, remember what's going to happen to the Christians. Very harsh, very harsh. But the problem with America, it will take the rest of the world with it when it goes down.
I thought that was interesting. And it sort of aligns with some of the things that I've already been thinking. And I've been looking at a lot of these things as well. But I have to find, here it is. Here it is. I thought I was going to say, man, I don't know if I'll be able to find this video, bro. I found it. I want you all to take a listen to this. This would be one of the most powerful videos I've ever shared on this channel before.
The headline.
Listen to this lady. It's about a 4-minute clip, but I promise you it's worth it.
All right, now sit down for a minute, because see this right here? This ain't just another headline that you want to scroll past. What's happening around the Strait of Hormuz? See, that's not random. That's pressure. And Iran knows exactly what it's doing. They're basically saying, if oil moves through here, it's not going to be paid for in US dollars anymore. It's going to be paid in Chinese yuan. Now listen, that might sound like small talk to some folks, but it's not. It's a big deal. And here's the part that they don't explain to regular Joe Blow folks like me and you. Because if they did, we would start asking better questions than we're asking, right? The United States dollar didn't just become the world's main currency because everybody admired America. No, ma'am, no, sir. That was arranged. Back in 1971, Nixon printed more money than the gold we could support, mostly to pay for the Vietnam War. So he cut the dollar loose from gold completely. Now that created a problem, because if your money isn't backed by gold anymore, why should the world keep trusting it? So in 1974, same year I came out of high school, the United States made a deal with Saudi Arabia. You sell your oil in US dollars and we'll protect you militarily. And just like that, the system was set. Okay. After that, every country that needed oil had to get dollars first. And that's what kept the United States dollar on top. It wasn't just strong, it was necessary. Now bring it back to what's happening today. The Strait of Hormuz is where about 20% of the world's oil passes through every single day. So when that gets disrupted, it doesn't stay over there. It hits everybody. Now Iran is saying, we'll sell the oil, but not in dollars. That right there, that's not a small change. That is a direct hit to the system that's been running for over 50 years. Because now countries like China, India, Japan, South Korea, the ones buying that oil, they don't need dollars the same way anymore. And if they don't need dollars, they stop holding as many. They stop buying as many. They start shifting to other currencies. Got that? And once that starts happening, the whole system starts to crack. Now, here's where it gets real. The United States is already deep in debt. And right now, we're paying more in interest on that debt than we are on military. Let that sink in. This year alone, the government has to refinance trillions of dollars. So if interest rates go up even a little, that cost's going to go through the roof. It's going to explode. The only reason we've been able to carry that kind of debt is because the world kept needing dollars for oil. See, that was the trick, right? But if oil doesn't require dollars anymore, that demand weakens. And when that demand weakens, everything starts to shift. So no, this isn't just about conflict. This isn't just about politics. This is about money, power, control. This is a financial fight. And if we're being honest, the United States don't look so ready for what's about to come next.